cooperation between countries.
1-0-0. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Discovery, roger. Go for deploy.
Everybody in the shuttle program, the crew is go for launch.
Roger. Nice to be in orbit.
We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
Thank you for joining us. Moments ago, at 7:27 p.m., the NASA SpaceX Crew-1 mission blasted off from Kennedy Space Center's historic Pad 39A with 4 astronauts, Americans Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Japanese astronauts Soichi Noguchi. Today, we have a great group of people to talk about the Crew-1 mission in this post-launch press conference and talk about the many historic elements of this historic launch. Joining us today is NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, Kathy Lueders, Associate Administrator for Human Exploration and Operations at NASA Headquarters, Hiroshi Sasaki, Vice President and Director General of JAXA's Human Spaceflight Technology Directorate, Steve Dickson, Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and Gwynne Shotwell, President and Chief Operating Officer of SpaceX. And I'm Bettina Inclan. In a moment, we'll hear their opening remarks, and then we'll take questions from the media. So let's start with Administrator Jim Bridenstine.
Well, thank you, Bettina. Another historic night, and I want to congratulate the NASA team and the SpaceX team for an amazing job yet again. So the big milestone here is that we are now moving away from development and test and into operational flights. And in fact, this operational flight was licensed by the FAA. So this is truly a commercial launch vehicle, and we're grateful to our partners at SpaceX for providing it and our partners at the FAA for licensing it. And I'm also grateful to our partners with Japan. And Hiroshi Sasaki, who's with us today, you should know that Japan is an amazing partner for the United States of America. We are exceptionally grateful that Japan would join us on Crew-1. And so this is a great day for the United States of America and a great day for Japan. And we look forward to many more years of a great partnership, not just in low Earth orbit, but all the way to the moon. So we're just really excited with how well it went today, and look forward to answering any questions.
Kathy?
Yeah, I cannot tell you. I know. Thank you, Gwynne. It's been quite a journey for the team that's been out here and working so hard. This is really an amazing day for us. I can't tell you. I'm just like pretty choked up a little bit thinking about, you know, the folks that have spent years of their lives getting ready for this mission, and being able to see the crew fly today was just phenomenal. You know, we've talked a lot about firsts, and this mission is an example of multiple firsts for us. A partnership across agencies with the FAA, obviously, FCC, first commercial mission, a partnership across our international partners, and having, you know, the Sasaki-san here is an example, and having Soichi on the flight is just an amazing experience for us. But most of all, it's a partnership with SpaceX and our commercial partners. And you know, leaving the team over there in the firing room, everybody is so fired up. They're so excited about this mission, but we're not done yet. We need to keep going. That spacecraft's out there with those 4 precious crew members on them, and we're going to get them safely to the International Space Station tomorrow, right? And but it was a beautiful launch today, and really excited, and thank you.
First of all, on behalf of JAXA, I'd like to express my appreciation to all staff who are engaged in the launch operations during the COVID-19 situations. The mission is still ongoing, but I would like to congratulate launch success first. I have seen lots of launches of the Japanese rocket, but It is the first time to see the launch of Falcon 9. The night launch was very beautiful, and it was even more impressive considering that the 4 crew members, including JAXA astronaut Noguchi, were on board. It is very significant for JAXA that astronaut Noguchi will board the first operational flight of Crew Dragon and launches from Kennedy Space Center. I believe that this is an outcome of the cooperation between NASA and JAXA. And efforts of JAXA, including the astronaut Noguchi, have been highly evaluated by the partners. Astronaut Noguchi will be involved in a variety of activities on the ISS, and he will conduct science activities using microgravity environment and demonstrate the technologies for the future. Currently, JAXA and NASA are working on the framework of Japan-US Open Platform Partnership Program to achieve results through the mutual use of experiment equipment, and would like to further deepen the cooperation between Japan and US. In July, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology of Japan and NASA signed the Joint Exploration Declaration of Intent for lunar cooperation. I believe the human space activities will expand from the ISS to the moon. I am looking forward to enjoy the new era and going together for the future. Once again, congratulations on the successful launch.
Well, on behalf of 45,000 aerospace professionals at the FAA, it is truly an honor and a privilege. This is a big night for many of us, and it's a big night for the FAA. But I first want to offer my congratulations, heartfelt congratulations to Jim and the NASA team, Sasaki-san, and JAXA, of course, our Japanese partners, and the SpaceX team led by Elon Musk and Gwynne Shotwell. The energy in the room is palpable, and it is a tremendous accomplishment for our country and for humankind as we begin the next significant step towards the commercialization, in this case, of low Earth orbit. You know, this launch is another major milestone in space transportation. It's a culmination of a lot of hard work from a lot of people in government and industry, all working closely together. It's also the first FAA-licensed orbital human spaceflight launch. Our job in this mission is to protect public safety, property, and national security, and we've done that. We'll continue to work with the commercial space industry and NASA to ensure that we continue to meet these priorities. And we'll continue our efforts to help make the airspace system more flexible and dynamic so we can support the expected increase in space operations in the coming years. As a matter of fact, I received a text from our FAA Command Center just outside Washington, D.C. that we released the airspace for commercial traffic within 20 minutes of the launch. And we continue to refine our capabilities there. So it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. And again, congratulations to everyone on a successful start to a great mission.
Gwynne?
Thanks, Bettina. I'm thrilled to be here today. I want to make sure I get all the thank yous. Thanks to NASA to start with for the partnership that we've had. This journey began really in August of 2006 when we first started working on Dragon and Falcon 9 together. So thank you for your partnership. Kathy, we've been working together for quite some time, since then, actually, from the beginning. I want to thank the 45th Space Wing, another mission partner here. I want to thank the FAA. Steve, appreciate all your support. And Sasaki-san, I wanted to thank you as well for both coming and participating, but also for allowing Soichi to fly on a Dragon. I want to thank SpaceX employees who have worked tirelessly, hard and tirelessly, through pretty extraordinary times. They continue to amaze me, and I'm so proud of them. So I wanted to thank them for that as well. Could not be more proud of the work that we've all done together here today. Falcon 9 the launch looked beautiful. I don't have any specifics on any anomalies that we had, which is great. We'll get more data as we go. Dragon was dropped off roughly 12 minutes into the mission into a beautiful orbit, and she's operating just fine, all systems nominal. Executed a burn, and I think there's 2 more to go. We approach the space station in a little over 24 hours from now, and then we'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief 26 or so hours from now, once we hand the crew over to NASA. In the next 15 months, we should be flying roughly 7 Dragon missions, and this mission represents the initiation of a Dragon in orbit continuously, knocking on wood, and certainly is really the beginning of a new era in human spaceflight. So thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. I know that I could speak for millions that are just really excited to see these 4 astronauts on the Crew Dragon Resilience and get to the International Space Station for this important mission. So with that, we'll take some questions. Our first question is from Marsha Dunn.
Hello?
Yes, Marsha, we can hear you.
Yes, great. Hi, for Ms. Shotwell, please. I'm curious, how wired into the launch was Elon? Was he backseat driving, so to speak? And curious as to where he actually monitored all the action from. Thank you.
So Elon was tied in very closely to the launch. I have a series of texts to prove it. As usual, regardless of where he is on the planet, he is watching closely and providing guidance and support.
Great. Our next question comes from Michael Sheets from CNBC.
Hi, my first question is for Gwynne. SpaceX has really broken a new ceiling here in terms of doing something that only countries had done before. How many other companies do you see entering the orbital human spaceflight market in the next decade and kind of following in your footsteps now that you guys have done it?
You know, I'm a horrible predictor. I never get it right. So I think what you can count on is what I say won't be right. Obviously, we expect to have flights from Boeing upcoming, but I don't think you're asking about the existing providers. I think you're talking about new ones. This is a tough business to break into. I wouldn't expect any in the next 5 years, but hopefully within 10, there'll be plenty of folks doing this kind of work to make it more accessible to more folks.
Our next question comes from Eric Berger from Ars Technica.
Hi, congratulations everyone. Such a big night for human spaceflight. I think this is a question for Kathy, but if someone else wants to take it, that's fine too. Going back to yesterday's 24-hour delay, it's my understanding the primary driver of that was the fact that the drone ship couldn't get out of port due to Tropical Storm Eta. And I was just wondering, you know, a few years ago, Kathy, could you imagine, you know, scrubbing or holding a launch for a day, you know, to recover the first stage of a rocket?
No, but you know, we were also, I think, a few years ago weren't looking at the cadence that we had and trying to be as cost effective on our services going forward, right? This has been a horrendous year for storms. I don't think if you would have asked me a few years ago if we would have had, you know, 5 storms hit the Louisiana coast and another set hit me, a couple hitting Florida in November, I would have been surprised too. But you know, with the systems that we have, there's constraints and big choices, and one of those choices was we had a beautiful opportunity on Sunday. And so that was a big part of the conversation and us deciding to pick this day. Yesterday it ended up not being that great a day around the launch time. So this was a great day and it was a great launch, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was a really incredible experience. I think all of us are still excited about seeing it. Our next question comes from Irene Klotz from Aviation Week.
Thanks, Bettina. Congratulations, everyone. My question is for Gwynne. The 15 months, 7 Dragons, are you counting commercial missions in that? And can you give us an update on where you stand on the commercial flights, aside from, I think, the Axiom mission was now officially on the books for the end of next year. Is there anything else? Thanks.
So I believe we did count 1 commercial mission in there, but I don't want to do math in public. I will call you if I got that one wrong. We'll be flying the Crew-2 mission in about 4.5 months, and then Crew-3 roughly, possibly 6 months later. We do hope to fly a commercial mission with Axiom, and maybe some other fun missions, which I'll chat about later.
Our next question comes from David Curley.
Gwynne Shotwell, kind of curious about what happened to your emotions when they had to reopen the hatch. And can you explain to me the technology? I think we're all kind of used to a hatch closing. You crank the wheel and it's closed. It seems to be a little bit longer process. I don't understand everything that you've got going there, but can you just kind of talk about the hatch and what happened?
So I'm not sure I heard you. If you're asking about the do-over on the hatch operation that we had today? So we closed the hatch the first time, and the capsule did not pass its leak checks. So we opened it and took a look at the seals, found a little bit of FOD, cleaned that up, adjusted the seals, and reclosed the hatch. And the Dragon capsule passed its leak check.
Okay.
You probably need to make that operation a little smoother, but we got it done.
Thank you, Gwynne. Our next question comes from Jeff Faust.
Hi, question for either Gwynne or Kathy. There were some alerts after Crew Dragon made it to orbit about the thermal control system. It looks like that was resolved, but was that just a false alarm, or was that an actual issue with the thermal control system that has since been corrected? Thanks.
Well, what's amazing in the first hour of flight is kind of all the systems are activated, right? And so the fault detection systems are working, and what happened was it hit a fitter, and that kind of that happens during system startups, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It flipped over to the second leg. We have a lot of redundancy in the system, and then the team was able to go in and ended up clearing the faults, and both legs are back up and running. So this is not it's not an unusual thing to happen when systems are started up like this. We go through the launch, and then we kind of hang out for that first hour of Dragon activation, because it kind of is an amazing thing, and it goes through and checks out all the different parts of it, and it gives us a good health check for the way the spacecraft's working. And like Gwynne said, Dragon's flying beautifully right now.
Thank you both. Our next question comes from Joey Roulette, Reuters.
Hey, thanks, Bettina. Question for Kathy. I just wanted to follow up on that. Can you kind of give us a sense of what happened with the thermal control system? And for Gwynne, how many private astronaut missions do you guys have booked up right now? Can you give us like a ballpark on maybe how much you're in talks for, or how much you have solidified? Thanks.
Well, sometimes it's just a sensor issue, right? And it's just a startup sensor getting everything aligned. And so actually, nothing really happened to the system. It was kind of just a function of kind of running through. And when you have all these checks and your system's doing all the checks, sometimes it'll hit a limit and then flip over, and then you reset the pieces of it. And so actually we have 2 good loops now, and the system's working great. So like I said, it's just a little bit of a startup glitch.
Thank you. Paul Brinkman, UPI, is our next reporter. Paul?
Yeah, thanks. I'm I'm really thinking about the astronauts in space now, and poor people trying to sleep after launching on a rocket and flying around the Earth on a new spacecraft. My understanding is the flight time tonight apparently was extended, partly for their sleep time, and we've heard how important it is that they get proper sleep. But I'm thinking that must be kind of a challenge. So I guess, Kathy or Gwynne, could you talk a little bit about how well astronauts sleep in space, and is it a really peaceful ride aboard Dragon now as it's cruising in orbit, or is there a lights out rule or a no talking rule? Thanks.
Well, they do have little curtains that they cover the windows, and they do get out of their suits and get comfortable and lay down. And you have to realize too, you're in 0G too, right? So you're in a little bit different position. These are experienced crew members, and they know that they've got to get their rest and work through them. And so the other really great thing is you can watch them, because there'll be a lot of NASA coverage of the mission over this next 26 hours. So you'll be able to see the crew during different activities, not while they're sleeping, but doing other activities, and so you'll be able to watch along what they do. These folks know what they're doing. They're very experienced. They know that they got to get their rest so that they can do the sequence of events that are coming up for docking as safely as possible.
Yeah. Still would be really hard to sleep right now. I'd be really excited.
They were having a lot of fun. If you noticed them, you guys need to watch them. They were actually, this crew was, they were there, and they were enjoying being in space again.
Yeah, what an experience. Our next question comes from Stephen Clark.
Hi, congratulations, Stephen Clark from Spaceflight now. I just wanted to clarify one thing from Gwynne, the 7 Dragon missions in the next 15 months, I think you said. Do those include the cargo missions, or are those all crew missions? And also, I wanted to get an update on your Crew Dragon production line. How many Crew Dragons are currently being built? Do you have 2 that have launched now? Do you have any other Crew Dragons being assembled right now, or will you be doing your near-term missions with these 2 vehicles? Thanks.
Yeah, so I was hedging a little bit. I did check my phone, and the 7 missions I was talking about were all for NASA, CRS 21 through 24, and 3 crew missions. But I was hedging just in case one of those doesn't go, to include a commercial mission between now and then. And then the other question you asked was there a second part? Oh, how many Dragons in production? Thanks, Steve. You want to? So we have the Demo 2 Dragon is in the refurbishment process to fly Crew 2. There's a Dragon capsule. Well, there's also the CRS 21 capsule. I think there's 2 more cargo capsules after that, and we will have 3 additional Crew Dragon capsules, I believe. And they're all to some extent in production right now.
Okay. So our next question comes from David Mosier of Business Insider.
Thank you for taking my question. Kathy, I understand this docking will be fully automated that's coming up, but is there anything, any step you're particularly concerned about or will be watching closely? And Gwynne, you mentioned some anomaly data. Maybe I misheard you, but is there anything SpaceX and NASA saw during launch or is seeing in orbit that needs further investigating? Thanks.
So the Dragon is designed to have an automated docking, and right now all the systems are working, and so we're not expecting there to be any issues with the docking. And obviously, you know, that they'll be checking out the systems as they get near station, and they check all the different sensor suites and make sure that things are functioning. And then the crew is also trained on being able to do some kind of backup maneuvers too. But right now, we're not expecting any issues, and I'm sure docking tomorrow will go smoothly.
Right. So Wanted to get one more question for Hiroshi Sasaki. We know that this mission had a lot of great milestones. Not only is it the first crew rotation from a commercial space vehicle, but also you're carrying the first international astronaut on this mission. What is next for JAXA in the future?
Next astronauts. Currently, we want to send astronaut Hoshide. I will currently on the Crew Dragon 2. He will. I hope he will become the ISS commander.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we're gonna start wrapping up this press conference. But before we do that, I'd like to turn it over to Administrator Bridenstine for some closing remarks.
Well, sure. I think what we've seen today is really remarkable. So much work by so many people over a sustained period of time. Again, thank you to SpaceX and Gwynne Shotwell and Elon Musk for being an amazing partner to NASA for all of these years. I think it's also important to recognize Kathy Lueders, who was very involved in the commercial resupply program. Which then led to the development of a commercial crew program. And of course, Kathy has done amazing work through both of those programs, getting us to where we are as an agency now with commercial crew, and doing such an amazing job that we decided to put her in charge of all human spaceflight for NASA. So she's now responsible for getting us to the moon and onto Mars. So just want to say to Kathy Lueders, NASA is so grateful for all of your leadership for all of these years, and I can't wait to see the amazing things that you and the team do in the future. I also want to thank our friends from Japan. Again, there is no better partner to the United States of America when it comes to space exploration than the nation of Japan. JAXA has been with us for a very, very long time. They will be with us. You will be with us for a long time into the future. When we think about the Artemis program, we thank you for your commitment to the Artemis program, for a sustainable return to the moon, and of course, eventually missions to Mars. And Japan has been an amazing partner, so thank you. And of course, for this mission, so unique in that we are now going into basically operational missions that are commercial in nature, where NASA is a customer. Our goal has been and will be to be one customer of many customers in a very robust commercial marketplace in low Earth orbit. But we also want to have numerous providers that are competing on cost and innovation, and of course, safety. We've seen amazing work from SpaceX already. There's more coming from Boeing. But I think this ecosystem, this very virtuous cycle of continuous development is going to pay benefits to the American taxpayer and space exploration. And as these missions go forward and we get more and more into the commercial aspects of it, the FAA is going to continue to be a critical partner. And we're grateful to the leadership there at the FAA for licensing this launch and moving us forward as a nation into this new era of commercial human spaceflight into orbital space. So, so many amazing things on this flight. As Kathy said earlier, it is not over. This was a beautiful launch, and we are all very excited about the launch. But remember, this is a 6-month mission, and it's the first of many. And I will tell you that we use the word operational. Make no mistake, when you're flying into space, it is always there's always risk, and we will always be diligent. And we have all the confidence in the world in SpaceX and in the NASA team, in our partners, international partners, FAA, and of course Boeing upcoming, which is going to be exciting. So I'm just very, very thrilled about how today went and look forward to so many great days in the future.
Thank you, Jim. So stay with us. We have lots of exciting news. As we've mentioned, we'll be having live continuous coverage on NASA television through docking, which will happen at 11 p.m. Tomorrow. And we'll also, of course, have the welcome ceremony. You can get all this information and lots more at nasa.gov. Again, nasa.gov, and you can watch the live broadcast on NASA TV. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night.